Hi, Alan Cox here. Have you ever wondered how to protect sensitive information or data without drowning in all the false positives? Today I want to talk about EDM or exact data match. An exact data match or EDM is a powerful feature within Microsoft Purview that helps you identify and protect highly sensitive structured data like customer IDs, account numbers, patient records, employment records with pinpoint accuracy. Traditional pattern based detection often flags too much or too little. EDM solves this by matching the data against a secure reference set that you provided and reducing the false positives and ensuring compliance with regulations like GDPR and HIPAA. So today that's going to be the focus of our conversation. Probably going to do this in a couple videos to cover it completely. And so we'll talk a little bit about that and how we're going to divide that up. But that's our topic for today is EDM or exact data match in Microsoft Purview. Let's get started. All right, here we are back in purview.microsoft.com, and we're going to go here to solutions and down to information protection. And we'll walk through some of the steps that were needed here to go into set up EDM classifiers. So remember, these EDM classifiers are sensitive information types that are more structured, more tailored to your organization. They're exact data matches, so they produce less chances of false positives. And so as we go into here to EDM classifiers, we'll go in and we'll create our first EDM classifier. Now there's a couple things that one is that is I prepare my data set. So what is the data that I'm trying to hit against, right? In this case, in our scenario, we're going to do like a patient ID, right? And so we can go over here, we'll go into EDM here, we can go into industry-specific sample files, and we can go U.S. healthcare data, and I can download that. It gives us more details, insurance data, financial data, etc. And I can download a CSV file that I can use sort of templatize this. The other option you could do is a site that I've used quite a bit is DLP Test, where you can download sample data of false, credit card information and all of this, and so or social security numbers or whatever. But that's where you can generate some sample data. And quite frankly, another possibility or another way that I do this is to literally use Copilot to create a spreadsheet or an Excel file that has these data, different data types in it that I want to test. Now, what I also recommend, so that we talked about before, and but the sensitive info types, and if we go to create a custom sensitive information type, I recommend doing that so that what you're hitting against in EDM classifiers is kind of consistent throughout Purview and already has a sensitive information type that's for your organization that's custom. And I give an example of this. I've done this. So sensitive information type, well, normally there's, I think, 327 information types here that are built in. I'm going to go ahead and look for one that I have created here in patient ID record, and we're going to look at this just real quick because we'll see that I did create this as a custom one that I've created based on a pattern, so a reg pattern that I'm using here. And so we'll click in here. We can see this this reg pattern here. So basically 3 digits and a dash and then 6 followed by 6 digits is the pattern that would be consistent with my um, patient record that I'm going to be hitting against here, right? If that makes sense. So, and one way you can do that is, or by looking at this, I'll look at data here. We'll look at this patient records. This is my data set. Remember, in Purview, we can download a data set, and so we've kind of done something similar to that and created it. But I also have created it with the pattern that we just talked about, which is this patient ID of 3 characters, 3 digits, and then dash, and then 6 additional digits, right? So that's my data set there. And so let's see, I do not need to save anything there. Now, the other thing that we need to do is we need to create an account, a group, a security group that is just like this, EDM underscore data uploaders. It's just a security group, but it needs to be created, and then anybody that would be potentially uploading data data sets or sample data or whatever needs to be a member of this group. And so currently I am only a member of this group, but not everybody in the organization needs to, just as we upload sample data that we'll be doing here in just a little bit. So those are kind of the prerequisites there. Another thing is, you may have noticed that in my data set, or in my structure here, I have under the C drive an EDM folder followed by data, which is where my data set sits, and then a hash folder under that, under EDM. So EDM, data, subfolder, and then hash as a subfolder under EDM. We'll be using that here in just a little bit. Just recommended to have that kind of set up as we look to that. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and go to EDM classifiers. We're going to create this and we're going to walk through it. And here's kind of some steps, but we're just going to kind of walk through this and create this EDM classifier. And I'm just going to call this, EDM patient ID. Okay, and just give it a meaningful description. We'll just leave it at the same there, and we're going to go next here. And I'm going to upload this sample data. You want to do that definitely to upload the sample data rather than manually define the data structure. So we're going to do this, and we're going to upload this file. It's going to be the same file we just looked at a minute ago, which is this patient records demo here, and we're going to drop that in there and let that kind of map out. Once it maps out, you can see what it's just kind of returning here, okay? Not a whole lot of information there, but as we go next, we're going to see where we have matches in this in this file. So we're matching full names. We can look and see we have full names, okay? We're matching 100% there. We can see Social Security number. We have a partial match, just fine. We have not a match here. It's interesting. I'd have to look and dig into, why that's not exactly a match. It looks like the right pattern. There could be something there. So, anyway, as we go through this, I'm going to ultimately, my primary element here is going to be patient ID. That's really what I'm really targeting. Okay, we can look at there. We got a full match here, and it is based on the 3 digits, as well as the 6 digit after that dash, and that is it's really hitting that because of that custom SID that I created. It's recognizing that. But that's going to be our primary hit. That's what we're really targeting here. So I'm going to go next here. Then we're going to go. Here, and we can change all of the different columns. So we can say, for Social Security, for example, we want to make sure that These things will be ignored, whether it's a dash or all of that. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to set this all the same. That's fine. We're going to go next here. Now, under this detection rules here, we have medium and high. So if I click edit here, we can see that if my primary confidence is high, or my primary is high, confidence level is high if patient ID and any two of these supporting elements are present. Okay, and there's this whole proximity thing which defaults at 300. But if the patient ID and any of these supporting elements and any supporting element, then it's medium confidence. Okay, if I want to add a low confidence, I can, and that basically says if patient ID is anywhere in the document or anywhere in whatever we're targeting, this SI, the document, the email, whatever, then it could be considered low confidence because it's only asking for that primary, classification, which is patient ID. That may not tell me it's high confidence, but if I have patient ID and any two of these, an employer, an address, medical condition, social security, then it's a pretty high confidence, right? So we're going to save this. We're good with that. We're going to go next here. And at this point, we can just click submit here and then we are good to go. I am going to copy this schema, okay, and then I'm going to make sure that's copied. I'm going to say done here, and we have our EDM classifier. Now, it's going to tell us here that the source file is not uploaded, and it's going to go into all of this. It's going to ask us how to upload, and we have all this information right here, and we will jump into that in part 2 when we get into the hash upload and get into the upload and a few PowerShell commands or command lists that we have to run to do that. But anyway, that is part 1 of our EDM classifiers, and so hopefully that has been helpful for you, and I want to thank you for watching.